when I talk about an exercise like a squat, when I say squat, immediately someone's brain typically goes to one variation. The most common variation is a barbell back squat. You start to see different types of bars that people are using and different variations like a goblet squat, but even then, there's still a lot of nuance in deciding like what variation is gonna be best for the individual. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna show in real time 2 different variations of a squat and the impact that it's gonna have on Zach's hip range of motion. So we're gonna get just a baseline, just like we did with the shoulders in some of the older videos. Keep in mind, we might not be the best models for this because all of us have limitations in the hips, but what you're definitely gonna see is a difference. So remember, there's not so much a perfect range of motion, it's comparing Zach to himself of a before and after. So if we're seeing whatever his normal is, loosely speaking, if we see a reduction in that, that's going to be apparent, and if we see that increase, you're gonna see a difference too. So baseline, we're just looking at hip internal rotation. We're not taking a full collection of motion. I'll do my best to be specific, but obviously we're trying to show something in the video. So we'll call that about 10 degrees if I'm not being like too strict. Same thing, about 10 degrees. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna head over, we're gonna do just a traditional heels elevated goblet squat, which this isn't even in the realm of like a barbell back squat, heavy back squat, but Zach is really just going to, he's kind of self-choosing what depth to go to. So sometimes people choose this variation thinking they're doing like a really good regression from like a traditional back squat, thinking that this is automatically safer. And it's not a question of what's safe and dangerous. We're talking about what outcome from a movement perspective are we going to get from the exercise selection and execution that we're choosing. So just for context, that's basically like a, what are we talking about? 8 kilograms? So
20-ish.
Just shy of 20 pounds. So we come back, we do our best to be as reliable with the retest. Okay, if I went further than this, you're gonna see his hip right up. He's probably not gonna be very happy with me. You're gonna see his body start to move on the table. So if that's not 0, it's less than 5 degrees. So even though he only started with about 10, dropping off to less than 5 degrees is still a reduction in what his available range of motion should be, for lack of a better word. We come to the left side, same thing. We're probably at about 0. So again, without doing anything on the table, we're doing this live, so there's nothing editing, there's no splicing video, we're going right to a different variation. So the only thing that we change, same exact weight, same type of weight, same heel elevation, it's the same grade of elevation, these happen to be 2 separate ramps, but it's the same angle. All we're doing is basically stopping him. This is a 20-inch box. We added a foam pad, so add another 1 to 2 inches. So about 22 inches high. So we're just controlling for the depth of the execution. He'll do a set, we'll come back, we'll see what changes. And hopefully we'll get a good visual here. So the biggest difference in the 2 executions is going to be that we try to control for the depth. So we're not trying to get him to move past a depth that he does not have access to. We come back. Don't help me. I would argue 10 to 15, so even more than his initial motion, definitely more than the response from the first exercise variation. As I just plop his leg back down, come to the left side. Okay, maybe just shy of 10 degrees. So more than what happened after the first exercise variation, maybe about where he started. Obviously, if we were actually treating him, this would inform us on where we would want to go next, but easy visual as to how 2 seemingly similar variations, but still a slightly different nuance as to like what depth and what type of constraint we're controlling for is going to yield a completely different outcome in terms of what we're going to see in his hip range of motion.